a lot smoother here. Normal mode, and the difference when I put it into N mode, oh my god, and then you feel the bumps straight away. You hear the exhaust valves open as well. You probably wouldn't be good for your back to drive in N mode like this, and I'm on a motorway as well and you still feel it, so you couldn't drive in N mode on a country road, not a chance. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I said I'd do another POV drive of me actually driving to work this morning, but it's on a weekend, so as you can see it's extremely quiet, which is really nice. It means the road into work, which is like a 40-minute drive or thereabouts, is going to be nice and quiet, which is ideal. After starting the car a few minutes ago, so you can see it's still warming up. And I've said this before, when you're driving an i30N, like, you know when the engine's cold, because it just feels like sluggish when you're going up through the gears, and it really needs to get to temperature before it really shows what it's capable of. And you just get that feeling in the car that if you were to floor it now while the engine's cold, you just feel like the car would just break. You know, it doesn't give off that impression that it will survive, but it probably would, but probably best not to do it. Just wait for the orange little rev counter things to go down. I really like that feature. That feature's on BMWs. I really like that feature on the i30N. It's a cold morning this morning as well. The great thing I love about this car is that it has the heated seats and the heated steering wheel as well, which is such an amazing thing to have in a car on mornings like this where it's really cold. It's not really cold, it's like, what was it, 2 degrees at the moment, so it's not too bad, but it's nice to have that bit of heat there on the way to work. Gotta say, guys, when the weather is nice here, you really do see how nice Ireland actually is, like the scenery and stuff. And a lot of the roads in this country are like this, where you're just driving on the road like this and it's just fields either side, as you can see. So when you have weather like this where it's kind of dry and nice fresh air out, and you know it's going to be a good day, that the sun is going to be out today, it makes living here that more bearable than just the constant rain. So I'm in normal mode at the moment in the car, which is the most fuel efficient one I can be in. That kind of just gives a nice balance in the accelerator for accelerating and stuff. It kind of, when the car is in normal mode, it feels like a normal car that you're driving. You honestly can't tell that you're driving a performance car when you drive this car in normal mode. So you really can't. It does not seem like it has the power there until you actually put the foot down a bit. So I can probably show you here, like accelerating in normal mode, but if I switch it to N, and same level of acceleration, I did not put my foot down any harder on the accelerator, and you see how it just accelerates that much faster because the accelerator just becomes a lot more sensitive. And you can hear the difference in the exhaust note as well just by pressing one button. Steering gets really stiff, the suspension gets really stiff. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it's like I've lowering springs on. The cars, like every bump you can feel it in N mode, and that's why you have the N custom mode, which at the moment it has the steering loose, as I can feel that in the wheel, and then it has the soft dampers, the dampening as well, so that you're not feeling every bump that you go over. I can't believe this car only has 136 kilometers of range left of fuel. I feel like I'm always filling this car with petrol. The The amount of fuel this car uses is insane for a 4-cylinder engine. And we'll just turn that down a little bit because it's getting very warm in the car, and we'll turn off the heated seats and stuff. It's great. I love driving in mornings like this because it's pretty much empty. It's a big difference than driving to work on a weekday, where you're stuck in traffic a lot of the time, especially on the motorway. But when we get on the motorway now in a few minutes, it should be fairly quiet. And guys, if you're watching this and you have an i20N or an i30N and you're considering what exhaust modifications you want to do, the cheapest but most effective exhaust modification you can do on this car, in my opinion, is the GPF delete, or people call it the mid-pipe, getting a new mid-pipe in. It actually makes a big difference to the sound of the exhaust of the car. It adds more pops and bangs, more burbles. The only thing is though, it adds that when you're in normal mode as well. Sometimes when you're coming down the gears in normal mode or even in eco mode, you can still hear like little pops and burbles. So if you don't want that, probably the GPF delete is not for you. But I find even if I went full catless on this car, I don't think normal mode and eco mode would make a difference in terms of the pops and bangs and stuff, because the fact that it's doing that with just the GPF delete, probably full catless would do the same. But you get more pops and bangs in the high RPM ranges when you're not even accelerating. You get it in 6th gear pulls as well. You get a few pops and bangs compared to when the GPF was in the car. You wouldn't get that. You'd only get it when you're accelerating. So you do get a bit of a difference compared to stock, which is nice. And the car is a little bit louder as well. It's not too loud. It's not obnoxiously loud. I still think that the actual pops and bangs are louder than the exhaust itself, which I don't really like that much. I'd prefer to have like a loud engine over just like a quiet enough engine and then just hearing pops the whole time. Because the pops and bangs, they do get very predictable. Actually, it's still a little bit of traffic here on the motorway, joining it. Oh, bit of road rage. That was an interesting little scenario. I don't know if you guys seen that or if that was too far away, but that was interesting. These guys don't want to be civil with each other. Oh, it looks like the guy in the silver car is backed off. That was an interesting little encounter there for a motorway that's completely empty. Very strange. So yeah, motorway driving with the GPF delete, you can probably hear it on the video. It's very loud in the car at the moment. It's not necessarily quiet. And again, if you went with a sports car or catless or even a GPF back, it will probably make that sound a lot worse. But this is with the valves open. So if we just hit the drive mode button, put it into normal, you can see the difference there. It just closes the valves and it makes driving on the motorway a little bit more bearable because you don't have the sound of the exhaust constantly humming in your ear. I love how quiet this motorway is. It's ideal. And yeah guys, what I mean is like that you don't get much exhaust noise with the GPF back. It's more so pops and bangs. I can show you here with the window down. A lot of wind noise. If I put it into N mode and we do a little bit of a pull here just up to 120, you see you don't really hear the exhaust that much. The wind really takes over the sound of the exhaust noise. So it's more so pops and bangs you get with a GPF delete, not so much actual noise. It probably sounds better. I'm assuming it sounds better from the outside. Usually most cars are like that, so something to keep in mind. And the fuel is dropping so fast as well. It's down to 118 already just from the pulls and stuff on the motorway. I'm not going to have enough fuel to get home at this rate. Oh my god. Wow, that truck is like swaying a lot, isn't he? Oh shit, he's on the hard shoulder. Is it the wind? Oh. Oh, that was weird. He seemed to have straightened himself out a little bit there. Yeah. Anytime you see anything like that happen, guys, don't pass the truck unless you know for sure that it is safe to do so. He kind of, as I was approaching him, he kind of straightened himself out a little bit, but if he kept swerving, it probably would have been a bit too dangerous to pass him. I don't know if it's because that little gust of wind or something that probably threw him off course, or probably distracted or something, I'm not sure. Funny enough, just from my experience of driving, I've been driving years, is a lot of distraction happens when there's no distraction apparently on the roads. And what I mean by that is, on mornings like this, or when the motorway is completely empty and very quiet than normal, and you get the same people that drive this motorway the whole time, that are driving it like me, that are driving this motorway, and I know what it's like when it's really busy and then when it's quiet like this. People are more likely to get distracted with the screen here in the middle, or go on their phone, or take a phone call, send a text message, because the motorway is quiet, that they feel like that they can do that. So it's kind of in situations like this, surprisingly enough, is where you really need to be on guard for other people and just show a little bit more defensive driving, because this is where a lot of people get distracted. If you're on a motorway in heavy storm, thundery rain, and people are not going up to 120 because it's too dangerous, and rain is pelting down, the wind is spiraling the water on the road, things like that, that's where a lot of people are locked in and focused, and that's the less chance of something happening, because a lot more people are concentrating then. Not saying everybody is concentrating, and accidents obviously will still happen, and because not everyone is going to be locked in to their drive. But I find more people will be locked in on a drive like that than in the storm weather, than like conditions like this where nothing's happening. I'm after just putting the car back into normal mode there, after driving in N mode, just cruise control set. The reason why I do that, honestly, is just it's fun to drive the car in N mode, even on a road like this. It gives you that impression that you're driving on a racetrack, because you just feel every bump. It just feels like the car is like planted to the ground, that you have like so much grip, and then the steering is really stiff as well. Compared to normal, when the car is in normal mode, I said this earlier on in the video, the car just feels like such a normal car. It's insane. It's a lot smoother here, normal mode, and the difference when I put it into N mode, oh my god. And then you feel the bumps straight away, you hear the exhaust valves open as well. You probably wouldn't be good for your back to drive in N mode like this, and I'm on a motorway as well, and you still feel it. So you couldn't drive in N mode on a country road, not a chance. These the shift lights here is a really good indication of when you'll get the pops and bangs in the car, and I can show you here. If we go down the gears here, you can see it's popping, banging a lot going down the gears. Going to the left lane here, back into third. This white shift light here, this one, it shows you that it's going to pop and bang. I'll show you here. Let off. Jeez, this car is so fun, dude. Oh my god. think that's your answer to buy an i30N? That was exciting. Okay, so the drawback is I have like no fuel left. I'm coming down to no fuel. So off the motorway now, back into custom mode just to give myself that little bit of comfort. You'd break your back even on the motorway, because a lot of that motorway there is pretty bumpy and you really feel every bump. Check engine light is still on. I don't know if you guys can see that from the POV, but the check engine light is still on, and it's been like 6 months now maybe with the engine light on. And as I said before, I went to Hyundai and they use the advanced OBD thing. They can't figure out what's wrong with the car. I'm assuming I might need to go back to them and say to them, look, try and update the ECU or the software in the car. That would probably change it, because I read online that a check engine light is actually common enough in performance cars because of overly sensitive sensors or an ECU that needs an update, the software update. So I'm assuming that it's one or the other. It probably needs an update, or it's probably just a sensor that needs to be fixed or something, but I don't know why that doesn't show up on the scanner thing. Bro, this car is so fun to drive. It's actually so fun to drive. And what you get in this car compared to just a regular car, the big difference you do feel is just the grip on the car. Like, I know I'm not driving it that fast, but it's just the feeling you have. You just know that the car will stick to the ground. It just feels so planted, and that it's meant to be driven on a track. That's what I love about this car. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this morning's POV drive. I enjoyed it because it's a lot different than the evening POV drives I do, or in a busy town area where there's a lot of traffic. This morning was like different vibe. It's like a lot quieter, gives you more freedom with the car in a way that you're not really stuck in traffic. If there's any personal content with the i30N that you want to see, do leave it in the comments. I'd like to hear your video ideas, because I want to get at least one video a week out, but if I can't, I can't, but we'll see how we go. But thanks for watching. Take care.